Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you to all our speakers. Thank you to the town for supporting us. Thank you to the fire department, the police department, our council and town hall employees. Everybody's worked really hard to help put this together, and we're very grateful. I'm Madeline Gale, and I'm a co-founder and board member of Out Montclair. And I just want to encourage all of you. I'm starting out by encouraging all of you to please come to all of our pre-Pride festivities that start today and go through June 14th, and it culminates on the 14th for 6 hours of performances and vendors, and then a dance party in the evening. We look forward to seeing you. Please go to outmontclair.org for all information. I'm going in to introduce Rubina Spence, another co-founder and board member of Out Montclair. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for showing up. This is such an important day, and it's a beautiful, nice, hot day. I'm honored to be here again for another year as a co-founder, president of Out Montclair, and the board chairperson. Today's a beautiful day, and I wanted to say that this is a day of unity, regardless of who you love and who you are. You need to be your authentic self. But I wanted to just reflect quickly, and I'm going to make mine quick, but I wanted to give an important message. Last year, when our flag was raised, someone took it upon themselves to take that flag down 1 week later. But that was okay, because guess what? Each time that flag goes up, it gets stronger. We have more people than ever. And as I go through my decades, I know that 40 years ago, it wasn't like that. And I believe that every time there's an attack on the LGBTQ plus community, it gets stronger and people rally. We have allies that are just so dedicated to making sure that equality is for everyone. Last year, when we did the second flag raising, at the end of that raise, one of the people who comes to many of our events came to me and said, "Rubina, I need to share something with you." And I said, "What is that?" He said, "I brought my friend today. My friend was just kicked out of their house because they told their family that they were gay. So they became homeless that day or the day before, and share with their friend that they wanted to end everything because they felt so dejected." He brought his friend to the Pride raising, the second one, and the reason why he did that is because he knew that Montclair and Out Montclair is a welcoming and very supportive organization that gives people the support they need and also a safe space. It's about love and unity. If you have anybody who needs help, we are here to help them. We will direct them. We go further than you know. We have more people than you know involved in the support of LGBTQ plus rights. And equality doesn't mean just LGBTQ plus rights. It's equality for everyone, because we need the blend of everyone to make our community strong. That's why Montclair is very special. And I'm going to end with that, just saying, just join us for many of the activities that we have coming up, because it's all about unity. I wanted to, I see I have a number of board members here, so I wanted to give a shout out to my board members: Donna, Genevieve, Bill Corson, the people that make things happen and keep things going. And thank you so much for being here today. And with that, I'm going to introduce a force to be reckoned with, someone who I admire and know where their heart lies as far as LGBTQ rights in Montclair. Someone who made sure that things were put in place so that Montclair could achieve the 100 plus index that we have for our township. Mayor Dr. Renee Baskerville. It's a journey is a testament of a lifetime dedicated to community service, healthcare, and advocacy. She has been a distinguished pediatrician, public school physician. She has her twin sister, Leslie, yes, are fourth generation members of the Baskerville family here in Montclair. Mayor Baskerville has dedicated over 3 decades in serving our residents of Montclair. Her commitment to public service is exemplified by her unique role as the former school board member and only individual to consecutively serve 3 terms as Montclair's 4th Ward Council member. Mayor Baskerville's journey is a testament to a lifetime dedicated to community service, healthcare, advocacy for commission, consistently delivering affirmative results for the benefit of all Montclairians and visitors to the township. She has worked hard to ensure all residents feel safe, secured, valued, and lead Montclair towards LGBTQIA plus greater equality and visibility. She recognized the importance of having LGBTQIA residents serve on commissions and in government, and helped to pass the bathroom ordinance to support folks who are trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming. Consequently, Dr. Baskerville's work resulted in Montclair's receiving the 100% rating in Human Rights Campaign Equality Index. In addition, we are grateful to Mayor Baskerville for supporting our community with the LGBTQIA plus Progress Pride flag raising and the readings of both the trans and LGBTQIA plus Pride proclamations, which will take place at 6 o'clock this evening in Township. Now I present to you the Honorable Mayor Baskerville. Love you. I love you.
Thank you. Happy Pride, Montclair. We will not turn back, and we will not let unjust laws turn us around. We are proud to be gathered here today to rise the pride flag, a symbol of resilience, vitality, and love. It will fly not just for one group, but for all who believe in the dignity of every human being. And today in Montclair, we will rise it high, proudly, and unapologetically. The pride flag reminds us of a simple truth that everyone deserves to live openly, safely, and authentically without fear, shame, or discrimination. It is a symbol of solidarity for our LGBTQ plus neighbors, friends, family members, and youth, many of whom still face prejudice in ways that are far too often unseen and unspoken of. Let me be clear. This is not just a celebration. It's also an act of defiance. It is a protest, and when necessary, it may possibly become good trouble. Across the country, there are efforts to roll back hands of our rights that we have fought for decades, to silence LGBTQ plus voices, and to erase identities from classrooms, libraries, and public spaces. But here in Montclair, we will not be silent. We will not let hatred masquerade as policy, and we will not let injustice hide behind the law. I am so proud to be the mayor of this incredible township. Our town stands proudly on inclusion. And it's not just a slogan here, it's a commitment. It means protecting trans youth. It means ensuring access to affirming health care. It means teaching the truths that are often not written about in terms of the queer story. It means every person's right to be heard and to be written about. Montclair has always been a community that embraces progress, not just because it's the right thing, but it's simply because that's who we are. Montclair consistently ranks among the towns with the highest number of same-sex couples. That's not a statistics, it's just a statement. People move here because they know that in Montclair, it's a place where they can live openly, raise their families, contribute to community life, and be fully fearless and be themselves. And to all those of you who may have moved here for that reason, we will not disappoint you. We will not go backwards. We will keep Montclair a place where equality is not debated, it is expected, where inclusion is not performance, it is personal, where justice is not delayed, it is demanded. Raising this flag is more than symbolic. It is an act of solidarity. A time when we see efforts across the country to silence LGBT plus voices. Here we stand. As we raise the flag, we honor the generations who came together and who fought for freedom that we now understand is under attack. We stand here together and we celebrate the people who fought from Stonewall to Montclair, from protest to policy. And speaking of policy, I notice there are many of our elected officials who have been in the trenches fighting for decades so that we can have rights to celebrate openly and to be who we are. I notice Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill is here, as she always is with us. I notice our Attorney General is here. I notice that our Assemblywoman Koyasos is here. I notice Brendan Gill is here. I notice our Deputy Mayor Shin Anderson is here. I notice our Township Manager Stephen Marks is here. I notice other people who I'm forgetting. Garden State Equality, Danian Lopez, Kathy Renna. Who else am I forgetting that's here? Kathy. So I notice all of you and I celebrate you all today for working long and hard to make sure that we continue to move forward. We honor those who have paved the way and to those who are still fighting to be recognized, affirmed, and protected. As we raise the flag proudly for the next generation, every child is going to grow up knowing that they are not just accepted, they are celebrated. Pride is not just a month, it is a movement. It is a promise. And here in Montclair, it is real. We will never go back, we will never be silent, and we will keep marching forward together. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Baskerville. Thank you, Mayor Baskerville. We really appreciate everything you said. And she doesn't just say it, she walks the walk as well as talks the talk. So I just wanted to let you all know that we're going to have Attorney General Platkin speak next. Then we're raising the flag, but it's not over. We have many speakers. There are 16, so I hope you'll all stay for that. But we do need to raise the flag so people who might have other commitments will be able to go where they're going. So next, I'm going to read it from my phone, so forgive me for taking a little bit of time here. So Matthew J. Platkin is the 62nd Attorney General of New Jersey. As New Jersey's Chief Law Enforcement Officer and the people's lawyer, Attorney General Platkin's top priority is protecting the rights and safety of New Jersey residents, and restoring public trust in government is at the center of his work. Platkin's office works hard every day on behalf of everyday New Jerseyans. His top priority is to keep New Jerseyans safe, and that work includes investigating and prosecuting crimes, combating gun violence, enforcing strong consumer protection laws, protecting our civil, especially our LGBTQIA plus rights and reproductive rights, regulating important industries, rooting out corruption, and overseeing over 40,000 law enforcement officers throughout the state. Prior to his role as Attorney General, Plotkin served as Chief Counsel to Governor Murphy. He's a native of New Jersey and holds a Bachelor of Arts from Stanford University and a Juris Doctor of Stanford Law School. He lives in Montclair with his wife Sophia and their 2 children. Let's welcome Attorney General Matt Plotkin.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I have to go meet after this with a bunch of federal judges, which is the only reason why I'm wearing a suit and tie right now. So I'm jealous of everybody in shirts, but short sleeves. But I just want to, first of all, Mayor, thank you, Deputy Mayor, Congresswoman, thank you for all you've done on these issues. Assemblywoman Gassos Gill, Commissioner, wherever he is, thank him. Look, this is a really, first of all, I love Pride. Happy Pride to everyone. I'm sure we'll see all of you out here in, Chief, what is it, 12 days? I can't do the math. And for a great celebration, which out Montclair has just been a huge addition to this town. I'm 10 years in Montclair now, which is kind of crazy to me. And we moved here, actually, my wife's from Texas, and I was thinking about it. The first time we walked down this street, there were pride flags everywhere. And it was a huge symbol. I knew Montclair because I grew up here. She didn't. And that was her introduction to this town. She still talks about it. And unfortunately, the rest of the country doesn't look like Montclair right now. I wish it did. Montclair is a special place in that everyone is welcomed here. And that's what, to me, pride is. Because pride is about making sure that everyone is respected, that everyone's voice is heard, that solidarity means something, and that we stand together and we celebrate each other. And I really don't know what could be more fundamental to all of us than that. And so I've been proud. Look, my job is to keep you safe, and I want to give the Chief and the whole Montclair PD department, can you please give them a round of applause? They do an incredible job. And I'm really proud that in New Jersey, we have 42,000 law enforcement officers, the best trained law enforcement officers in the country, by the way. We have a law enforcement liaison program for LGBTQ members of the law enforcement community to be ambassadors and allies, to be ambassadors out. Started with 4 officers in Asbury Park and Garden State Equality in 2016. I marched with over 100 on Sunday at the Jersey Pride Parade in Asbury Park. That's what progress looks like. That's what making sure the law enforcement community represents our state. And look, we know, you all know what's going on. You know the challenges we're up against. I am proud of the fact that in New Jersey, we have said very clearly, from my office, from the governor, from the whole state, members of Congress, our local elected officials, you're not going to target people because of who they are. And you're not going to threaten people because of who they are. So when they threaten, this is 100% what they did. They threatened the entirety of our public education funding. Think about that. If you're a parent of a kid with autism, they said if you have a gay-straight alliance in your school, we're going to take that kid's aid away from him or her. We sued, and we won. When they targeted kids, vulnerable kids, the most vulnerable kids in our school, kids who have suicide rates as high as 50%. And they said, we don't care about whether there's a gun in every classroom. We're not going to stand with you on that. Something that, and I have to say this as a parent of a 6-year-old, something that might actually hurt a child. A gender pronoun is never going to hurt a child. That we're going to target them. We sued and we won. And as they've done over the past several months, every time they try to divide us and threaten us and hold things hostage that people rely upon, fire law enforcement officers, which is something they threaten to do because we stand with the LGBTQ community, gut our funding for roads, gut our schools, take our health care away, simply because we say what the law is that you're entitled in this state to be who you are, to love who you love, to express yourself how you want to express yourself, however, gender identity, it's all protected under the law. And we're not going to back down because they're threatening us. And I guarantee you, if we stay together as a state, if we continue to stand up, we're going to continue to win. Because we're right. We're right. We're right on the law, but more importantly, we're right fundamentally about who we are as a community and as a state. And I am so proud to be here with you all. I'm proud to live, not just in this state, but walking distance from where I'm standing in this community, which is what I consider to be the greatest community in this country. So thank you all, and thank you all for being out here and keep showing up.
Thank you. Take care. Take care. Oh, we're just trying to do the flag. Okay. Come on up, Matt. Matt. Wow.
You me?
Yes. You're going to say something as you're ready? Oh, we don't come on in and help raise. So they're going to help you. Here, you too. Because you know we can do it with that.
I told you it's a whole production going on just for this project.
Okay, so this lighter one.
Yes. Woo-hoo! Go.
And then there's a little
Yeah.
dot there. You got
Woo! Yes.
Thank you.
Woo! Look, we're stuck. Uh-oh. We're actually stuck.
That's okay. I can think of worse
Thank you for
places.
coming. See you on the 14th.
Yes, absolutely.
Hi, thank you for sticking around and witnessing our flag raising. Our next speaker is, we're thrilled to have Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill. She is our U.S. representative for New Jersey's 11th Congressional District, which includes much of Montclair. She also lives in Montclair with her husband and 4 children, and she is a champion for the LGBTQ plus community.
And she's running for governor.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see everyone here. You know, I served in the Navy under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And so to be here today and to have every community member out, to have our faith community out, to have law enforcement, to have our firefighters here, to have the mayor here, to have people coming out in force just to say everyone's welcome. At that time, it feels like that would have been unimaginable. So as we see all of the hatred that's coming from Washington and Trump's organization, as we see the attacks on all of our rights, I think it's important to remember where the country truly is today and what our values really are. And I think what we know is that we want to stand with our friends and neighbors. We want people to be able to be protected. We want our kids to know that they're safe and loved no matter who they are. And so it was wonderful to be down just this weekend at the Asbury Park Pride Parade. Montclair showed up and showed out. There were a lot of Montclairians down there. I still have the glitter. It does not come off easily to prove I was there. But it's truly wonderful to be here again out today to just continue to stand with all our friends and neighbors. So thank you all so much. Thanks again.
Thank you for coming. Surprise. Nice surprise. When I saw you reading that you're gonna come, that was great.
Moving right along. Thank you very much, Congressperson Mikey Sherrill. The next person I'm introducing is Diane Tyreen Anglin, who is the president of the Montclair NAACP, a long-life Montclair resident whose family has lived in the community for generations. Her career has been dedicated to serving vulnerable populations, including those impacted by the criminal justice system, homelessness, and systemic inequality. Diane is a strong ally to the LGBTQ plus community and believes true justice must include all voices. She and her husband, Kyle, have raised 2 sons, Dallas and Denver, to move through the world with open hearts and grounded awareness as young black men. I give you now Diane England. Yay!
Hey, I thank you all for inviting me to this event every year. It continues to, I'm sorry? We're members? Shout out to the NAACP members in the room. But I appreciate being invited to this event to share my pride. I shared that I am a third generation Montclair resident, and yes, Montclair looks very different now than it did before. But I stand before you today as a proud mom, a proud Mountie, a proud wife, and a proud president of the NAACP. And the reason why I want to share some new pride, because I say so many things every year, is that we looked at our national organization and the committees that were there, and the LGBTQ committee was on our national website, and we talk about advocacy in our national conventions, but right here in Montclair in our NAACP, we did not have that committee. I stand before you now to say that that is a committee that is on the Montclair NAACP, and we welcome you to join our NAACP and to join any committee that you find that helps with advocacy and moving forward civil rights for our Montclair residents, our New Jersey residents, and on and on and on and on. My other proud moment is that I've been named a newly board member to the Pride Center of Montclair, and I'm excited for the work that we will be doing together in Montclair with all organizations that stand up for the rights of all people, especially those vulnerable populations and our children. So again, thank you for having me, and thank you, Mayor Baskerville, for always recognizing what's right in Montclair.
Thank you, Diane. I will say that I am a proud member of the executive committee of the NAACP, and Diane England is an incredible leader who truly cares about all communities. Our next speaker is Reggie Bledsoe. He is one of the most amazing people we know. Another natural-born leader, does so much for the community. He was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, and has a long history serving his community. He graduated from Essex County Newark Tech and was elected as the youngest Democratic district leader in District 5 of Newark Central Ward. He also served as an elected member of Newark Board of Education, and currently he is the director of the Essex County Office of LGBTQ Plus Affairs and works closely with Essex County Executive Joey D. Vincenzo. His office is only one of 3 in the state of New Jersey. Reggie also worked in Governor Phil Murphy's administration for 4 years, starting with the New Jersey Department of Education before transitioning to the Department of Community Affairs. He previously served as a legislative aide to Essex County Commissioner President Wayne Richardson and former freeholder Bonnie Watson. His commitment to education continued, and he was appointed to the Essex County Schools of Technology Board of Ed and subsequently was elected as the president of the Essex County School Boards Association. He is also a member of the New Jersey Performing Arts Center's LGBTQ Advisory Council that we co-chair. And additionally, he's a former member of the New Jersey Federation of Housing Cooperatives and served on the board of directors for United Community Corporation, One Voice for LGBTQ issues, and Newark Gay Pride. His hard work has not gone unnoticed, and he's received numerous community awards. And at Montclair State University, he was elected as the first African American and male student trustee on MSU's Board of Trustees. Let's welcome Reggie Bledsoe.
So who is that guy she's talking about? So it is after hours, so I am no longer on the clock. So it was great to see Governor Mikey Sherrill in the building. So as always, it's always great to be back in the township of Montclair. This township is at the forefront, of what it means to be diverse. And it just brings wholeness in my heart every single time I get the opportunity to come to this town. So give yourselves a round of applause, Montclair. You are making it happen. A few years ago, there was some folks trying to come into this town and sow seeds of division, and this township pushed back and said no. As always, I work with one of the most greatest elected officials, and that is our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, who wished that he could be here and sends his warm wishes to you all. But I'm here to talk about pride. Pride is not just a party. Pride is a protest. Pride, it's a legacy, and it's a daily reminder that the courage that LGBTQ folks have to continue to fight each and every day to be authentically themselves. We honor the trailblazers, the folks who demanded visibility, who demanded to be at the forefront of community, and those who made it possible for me to stand here before you all today, like the Marsha P. Johnsons, the Bayard Rustins. Those are the folks who oftentimes have gone in the shadows and have not been able to be acknowledged for their rightful place in history. And I'm reminded that every day we must continue to push back against the fight against queer and trans people, because when people come after our most vulnerable, that's just the beginning. It starts with the trans, then it starts with the Black queer youth, then it continues to go on and on and on until there's no one else left. And as a community, we have a responsibility to push back against injustice. And the office that I sit in each and every day, which has expanded to 3 other counties, and right now we're in conversations with Camden County to create another office. So this is a movement that's happening right here in Essex County, and it's echoing across the state of New Jersey. And as always, I remind us, pride is power, pride is resistance, and pride is now. So thank you, Montclair. Thank you to Out Montclair for all that you do. I look forward to working with the Montclair Pride Center, and let's continue to come together and work on behalf of so many people who need our work and our efforts. So thank you again.
Thank you, Reggie. Take care.
I'm actually collecting some tears. I just, someone that I knew since he was 2 years old and I hadn't seen him in a while. He's 14 now. He shocked me. He was waiting for me. I wouldn't have recognized him, but he was he just brought tears to my eyes because we had a special relationship from the time he was 2 years old, and the time goes so fast. So I'm collecting myself now. The next person that I would like to introduce, who is part of Montclair, and everyone, I think you know her, not just because she's on television every other week. Just kidding. It's Susan Shin Anderson. She's the township's deputy mayor and at-large councilor. She represents our residents through all 4 wards. As an individual and in solidarity through her advocacy, she is a longtime ally and supporter of the LGBTQIA plus community. We know Susan, we know that in her heart, she's always come out to support Out Montclair in every single thing she can do or be at physically. Susan is also a former board member of AAPI New Jersey. And I welcome to the podium Susan Shin Anderson.
I was like, there's a TV star here? I was really confused. I was looking around. Hello? Okay. I was just saying I was a little surprised because I thought that was there was a TV personality here. So anyway, welcome everybody. You know, I was reflecting on what to say, and I remember when the first time I went to Stonewall with my law school friend and roommate. I went to go dancing, and it was my first time and not my only time, and I had so much fun. But of course, I didn't know the history behind that place and its significance to the LGBTQI plus community, gay rights, and the civil rights movement. I mean, why would I? It's not, this history is not taught in schools, like so many other parts of history that have gotten erased or are excluded, right? Well, I'm here today, second as an elected official, but first as an ally, a proud ally, to say loudly that everybody in this community, every LGBTQI plus person in this community has the right to feel loved, to be loved, free of shame, and to celebrate exactly who you are. I am going to pledge, no matter what my position is in life, that I will stand together with you in hopes of building a world where everyone feels like they belong and not just tolerated. I mean, tolerated that's not good enough. Everyone has to feel like they belong here, and especially recognizing the many intersections of race, ethnicity, religion, and disability within this community. I wanted to just notice that a lot of the attacks that we're seeing, not just in our government, but I mean, a lot of these attacks are taking place in spaces, gathering places like nightclubs, concerts, other places. And the people who make those kinds of attacks, they don't want you to gather in solidarity. They don't want you to feel safe because they want you to feel like you're alone. And so, as an elected here, I pledge that our township, and I also want to give a shout out to Councilor Eileen Birmingham and Eric D'Amato, who are also here. But we as a township council and township, township in general, that we are always going to make sure that this township is a safe gathering space for everyone, and that you never have to feel like you're alone. So thank you very much and happy Pride.
Our next speaker is Ruth Rowe, who goes by she, they. Ruth is a founding board member of AAPI Montclair, AAPI New Jersey, the state's largest Asian American nonprofit advocacy organization. She's the first openly queer person of color partner at Datner Architects, a woman-owned firm, where she leads the design of large-scale mixed-use placemaking projects. She's got a passion for complex multi-stakeholder endeavors, advocating for good design and rallying support to act on behalf of the greater community. As a leader and vocal advocate for social justice, both within the profession and civically, Ruth spearheaded her firm's DEI efforts, advancing the firm's equitable policies and practices. Her firm was awarded the Architects Newspaper Best in Practice for excellence and commitment to design, culture, and social impact. She served on the board of Build Out Alliance and currently leads their advocacy efforts supporting LGBTQ plus professionals in the building industry. Ruth is also recognized as one of Crane's notable LGBTQ leaders and executives. That's it, okay? Let's welcome Ruth Rowe. I don't know if I had another thing.
As many of you know, AAPI New Jersey is an organization that was founded right here in Montclair. And the founding members originally came together to respond to anti-Asian hate during the pandemic. They wanted to make sure that our students, as they headed back to school, were going to be seen and protected by our district. And now, as Madeline said, we are the largest AAPI advocacy organization in the state, and we serve over 1 million Asian American Pacific Islander residents. And we want to make sure that they are visible and heard. And we proudly stand in solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community, and in the same spirit as we were founded, we fight for the protections of trans youth across our state. I am a queer, non-binary, Korean American mom of 3, and I can honestly say only in a town like Montclair could someone like me feel not just accepted, but validated and provided a platform to speak. When the pride flag flies over in the middle of town, it's more than a symbol. It's a public declaration that the LGBTQ plus community belong, that our visibility matters, that our lives and stories matter. And it's especially meaningful for those of us who live at the intersection of communities, queer and Asian American. Too often we're told to pick one identity and to silence the other. But here we don't have to choose, we can be whole. This flag also signals to every kid walking by, you are safe, you are seen, and you belong. But this is not the case across New Jersey. We talk about the federal government with their anti-trans rhetoric, but we're seeing towns voting to repeal policies that protect trans students. Policy 5756 is in place to protect trans youth from being outed against their will. And this policy exists because, contrary to what opponents say, in fact, not every loving home is a safe one. My parents loved me, and they thought they had my best interest in mind, but our values were not aligned. So it wasn't until I was financially independent and living 750 miles away from them that I came out. And what followed was alienation, constant threatening phone calls, and hate and interrogation during the holidays. And I cannot begin to imagine what the outcome would have been had I been outed by my school while living under their roof. We need to trust that if a student feels safe being their full self at school, but not at home, there is a reason. A teacher or school administrator cannot know the full lived experience of that student. To force disclosure in the guise of student welfare isn't protective, it's dangerous, traumatic, and deeply uninformed. Raising this flag today is an act of resistance against that kind of harm. It's a gesture of love and solidarity. It says that here in Montclair, we protect our youth, we honor every identity, and we show up for each other. Thank you so much for being here to affirm who we are, and thank you for creating the space where I can stand as my full self and be part of this moment.
Assemblywoman Alexandra Calazos Gill is a resident of Montclair and immigrated from Colombia and settled with her family in New Jersey. Graduating from Long Branch High School and then Rutgers University, Newark, she worked for New Jersey Network in the office of Congressman Steve Rothman and on Phil Murphy's campaign for governor. She and her husband established a government affairs firm. She is consistently fully supportive of the LGBTQ plus and marginalized communities. I welcome Alexandra. Alexandra. You know I know you. There you go.
Thank you. Alexandra Crajazos. Thank you. Thank you so much. So on behalf of Brendan Gill, my husband, who's not here today because we had a bit of an emergency, family issues. One of our kids needed a ride somewhere. That's really it, last minute. But I really appreciate what Ruth said and what all the speakers have mentioned. Montclair is a real special place. We are seeing it is a welcoming community. It is a place where we can raise the pride and we feel the love, we feel the community, and it is an important thing to say. I had many things to say, but one of the things that I wanted to say is that you're right. As many people as are here in this, supporting us, supporting the pride, the flag and the pride flag and the community, LGBTQ community, plus there are many more who are against it, and they're actively supporting measures and policies that will out, as what you mentioned, outing kids in high schools and schools. So those are the movements that are really happening that we're seeing in the legislation. And I'm also reminded that the reason why we raise this flag is not just for us in Montclair, because again, we live in this community because we love it, because we feel welcome. But it is also a reminder for other communities, they don't have this privilege. I have been going to a couple of flag raisings in different towns that I represent. And just this weekend alone, I was encountered by a transgender person who told me that she had organized for the last 3 years, she had organized a Pride Festival in her town. And it started really small, but every single time she did it, the permits that came very, very late. But she persisted and got all the permits needed in order to continue her Pride. And it happened 3 years. This is the first time that she said it finally did not happen. It's not happening. The mayor is not supporting this Pride event, and that's the reason why she came to the event that we were going, the town next door to her. So when we raise this flag in Montclair, it's also to give the sign to all the other neighboring communities that you're also welcome in this town, that you are free to be who you are at any time without any repercussions, because you are welcome in Montclair. So I appreciate all of the organizers, the elected officials who, again, you see us, you see the community, and you welcome every single person. So thank you to all of you, and happy Pride.
Thank you so much. Take care. Tell Brendan we said hi. No, you can do Brian.
Our next speaker is Brian Benavides. He's an educator, community advocate, and Montclair resident. He serves as a director at a national education organization that partners with schools across the country to improve literacy outcomes and promote equity in the classroom. With over a decade of experience as a teacher and professor, Brian now supports educators in creating inclusive, culturally responsive learning environments where all students can thrive. He also teaches at New Jersey City University, mentoring the next generation of teachers. As an active member of Latinos of Montclair, Brian is passionate about building spaces where people of all backgrounds feel safe, seen, and supported, because love in all its forms deserves to be uplifted and protected. Let's welcome Brian.
Ay, bendito. Thank you so much for having me. This is the second time I get invited to the flag raising ceremony. I was here last year. And I'm here on behalf of Latinos of Montclair. I'm so fortunate to live in a town like Montclair that allows me to volunteer with a lot of different organizations. I've also volunteered with Out Montclair, so you know I've been all over the place. And you know, we're a volunteer-led organization. We're like Out Montclair, rooted in advocacy and community as well, which I think is really important. And you know, we welcome everybody who wants to be part of that mission. Recently, I was invited to, if you allow me a little anecdote, to go speak to school leaders in Chicago, since it's kind of a lot of the work I do as director at the company I'm at. And they invited me to talk about how do you make the spaces, in this case classrooms and schools writ large, inclusive? How do you visibly make it inclusive? And of course, things like this is really important to make that happen. I'm Puerto Rican. My family's Puerto Rican. I was born and raised in Newark. When I got into Chicago, I was just in the mood for Puerto Rican food. And if you're Puerto Rican, we know all of our enclaves. We know where we are. If it's Boston, it's Roxbury. If it's Jersey, it's Newark. If you're in New York, it's the Bronx, Brooklyn. We run New York. Let's be honest. And so, I mean, everybody's saying bodegas, right? And so I walked down to Humboldt Park. That's the neighborhood down there that where all the Puerto Ricans live. And Division Ave is the main Ave there. And if you walk down that Ave, you see a lot of visible footprints of the Puerto Rican community. And I get to the end of that street, and there was this big sign printed on the black Puerto Rican flag. I don't know if you've seen the black Puerto Rican flag, but it's risen up as the flag of resistance on the island, especially with everything that's going on the island. And the flag read, "Our existence is our resistance." And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because it reminded me, especially, you know, you could look at it from the context of that community, the Puerto Rican community writ large, and what's happening on the island. But really, it reminded me that for so many, whether you're LGBTQ plus, Latino, white, black, immigrant, or just someone who's ever felt like you had to shrink yourself to fit in, that there's power in simply showing up as your full self. And then, yes, and for some of us, just existing with pride and dignity is a form of resistance. And I really saw that as a call for all of us to show up for each other. So if you're here now you really are showing up for other people. This matters more than you think. Just having, how many people just walk by now to ask me, what are you guys doing here and why are you doing it? It's really a big, important thing that we have going on here. And I'm proud to be part of Montclair in a town like this that raises more than a flag. We really work on raising voices here. We raise awareness and we raise each other up. And so with that, I really just want to say that as somebody who's here to represent Latinos in Montclair, we continue to affirm that love is love, amor es amor. And gracias, Montclair. And I hope you'll join us. Follow us on Instagram. We're always, I know you guys want to dance salsa with us, so, hit us up on the gram. And thank you so much for having me here. Happy Pride.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Handsome.
Thank you.
Dee Chen serves as an executive board on the executive board of Heritage of Pride, aka New York City Pride, as the Community Relations Director. This role is to perform community outreach and form partnerships with like-minded organizations to better serve our community. Dee also oversees New York City's Pride's Pride Give Back grant program, which focuses on providing financial assistance to nonprofit and community organizations within the local New York metro area that are providing essential support, services, and community building programs for the LGBTQIA community. And it was a pleasure to get to know Dee better. Come on up, Dee. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you, everybody, for welcoming me here to Montclair. My name is Dee Chen, and I am thrilled to be here representing NYC Pride, where I am a volunteer, and I do serve on the board as the Community Relations Director. But as much time as I spend with NYC Pride, I am a Jersey girl. Raised in Jersey, grew up in Jersey, raised my family in Jersey. I still live here. Montclair is my local queer community. It's a lot easier to get here than Manhattan. So I volunteered without Montclair. I volunteered at Montclair Pride. I have volunteered with Newark Pride. I volunteered with Jersey Pride in Asbury Park. I'm not telling you this because I'm a super volunteer or to brag or be boastful. I'm telling you this because we all need to stand together now more than ever. We need to rise up together and show our pride. And it doesn't matter where we're from. It doesn't matter who we are, what we look like. What matters is that we stand together as one community. Whether we're LGBTQIA or plus, or we're friends, or we're families, we're allies. We need to rise up and show our pride. And we show our pride in protest. And conveniently, that is the NYC Pride theme for this year. Rise up, pride in protest. Now we all know that Pride started as a riot at Stonewall Inn. And every June, millions of us march in protest for equal rights under the law for all persons. All persons. But our protest doesn't need to be one born out of anger or dissent. It doesn't need to be rooted in trepidation or indignation or resentment. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. That's who they are. That's what they're about. Our protest is being visible. Our protest is being here, who we are. Our protest is being kind and compassionate, living freely and joyously. So we need to rise up and stand together. And not just our beautiful, loving community, and it's the most beautiful community in the world, We need our families. We need our friends. We need our allies to rise up with us, to rise up for us. And those of us who are privileged, okay, I am a person of privilege. I am not fighting for my rights. I will use whatever bathroom I choose. I will play whatever sport I want with whoever I want, wherever I want. I will read whatever book I want to read. So those of us that are privileged, we must rise up. Those of us who are not fighting for our rights, we must rise up. We must be visible. We must be vocal. We must be available. We must stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves, who are afraid to speak up. It is our duty and our responsibility to be their voice, to be their beacon of light and hope. And not just today, not just the month of June, every day. Be active, be involved, donate your time, donate your money. It's important. These things don't just happen. So I want all of you to know that you are deeply loved. I want you to know that you are lovable. And if you don't know that, from my heart, I love you. I do. I'm not being performative. I do love you. God loves you. Just know that you have a lot to give. No one can take that away from you. No one can tell you who you are or who to be. So spread your joy, share your love, celebrate your life. Rise up and show your pride. Our pride is our protest. And our protest is being who we are. Our protest is being visible. Our protest is just being. So let's be proud, joyous, and unapologetically us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was excellent. Love you too. Wonderful. Yeah, you're next, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Dee. Everything you said really hit home and was so powerful. We really appreciate you, Dee, and everything you stand for, and you are who you are. Damian Allen Lopez is next. Damian was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. A proud published queer author, he hopes to shift the conversation of marginalized identities in children's books and other mediums. His story has been recognized by First Lady Tammy Murphy of New Jersey, the 2021 .com Platinum Awards, El Vocero de Puerto Rico, and Them's Health 2021 Children's Book Recommendation List. He attended the Culinary Arts Institute at Hudson County Community College in Jersey City and completed his Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Sciences at Montclair State University in Montclair, New Jersey. Damian has excelled in his advocacy role since the publication of his children's book, I Am a Prince. He began his advocacy journey by fundraising for LGBTQ organizations, fighting against anti-transgender laws in the United States, and donating gender-affirming clothing to queer youth across the world. He also does amazing work with Garden State Equality. So let's welcome Damian Allen Lopez.
Hey, Damian.
Hi, folks. Again, my name is Damian Allen Lopez. My pronouns are he, they. I work as the Director of Trans Resiliency for Garden State Equality. I have to do my Garden State Equality schmeal. Garden State Equality is one of the leading LGBTQ nonprofits in New Jersey. To date, we've passed over 260 legislations or bills or policies that protect LGBTQ New Jerseyans. The most recent was making New Jersey a sanctuary state for gender-affirming care, as well as our older adults HIV protection bill. Yay, no, yes, it's exciting. And still working on so much more. So in 2025, it's only been more than 100 days. Okay. We find ourselves in a very complex political landscape, right? So progress is real. We've seen the strength of our communities, organizations, organizing, voting, and leading change at every level. But we are also facing renewed challenges. in regards to legislative rollbacks on LGBTQ rights, trans healthcare bans, and the rise of disinformation aimed at dividing us. The political landscape in 2025 presents formidable challenges to the LGBTQ community, characterized by federal and state legislative actions that seek to undermine hard-won rights and protections, right? We rise the pride flag, not in spite of these attacks, but because of them. We rise it with a message that we will not be erased. But symbolism is not enough, right? If we want to protect our community, we want to ensure that the rights we have to raise this flag for today are still here tomorrow. So we have to act. That means getting involved, showing up to Board of Education meetings, calling our representatives, voting in every election, local, state, and national, right? Supporting LGBTQ candidates and policies, as well as supporting allies. And of course, standing up, even though when it is hard, for the people who are most under threat. I always think it's a very interesting thing when we say LGBTQIA, because for a while, people always ask, well, what was the I for? The I is for intersex, right? And it's interesting, like I think last summer, someone was mentioning to me, they're like, but intersex, when we tell the definition, when you're born, it's a different array of hormones, chromosomes, internal organs, external genitalia, and reproductive anatomy, right? So things that change that come in different combinations, right? When someone's born. That isn't a gender, right? Intersex isn't a gender. It's a condition, right? And so someone asked, well, why is that in the LGBTQ community? And I was like, it's a good question. And I tell them, we understand, the LGBTQ community understands how it feels to be ostracized, how it feels to be erased, how it feels to be set aside or pushed aside because of something about who you are, right? And so we include the I as another individual or community that has been ostracized, or has been erased, that has been in the history books not necessarily up to date, right? There's a lot of medical research that has to be updated with intersex identities. And not a lot of folks recognize that, And so we tell them it's to be included, because for so long, voices like intersex voices, transgender voices, non-binary voices have been erased, right? And so I always like telling that story, because it's always a nice, just so you know, there's more behind it, right? And so as this flag rises above us, let it be more than a symbol. Let it be a calling, right? A call to action, a call to resist, to organize, and to build a future where equality isn't debated, it is guaranteed. Happy Pride, and thank you for fighting alongside us. Thank you.
Kathy Hearn O'Brien, Executive Director of Hyacinth AIDS Foundation in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Is a seasoned executive with experience in both the not-for-profit and for-profit environments. She is the co-chair of New Jersey. That was my fear all night long. There we go. Here we go. She is a co-chair of New Jersey's task force to end the HIV epidemic. Prior to being named executive director in March 2009, Kathy served as a member of the senior staff for over 10 years and was instrumental in strategic conversations which pertain to client services, prevention, and public policy, the cornerstones of Hyacinth's mission. She is also the appointed co-chair of the Essex County NJ LGBTQ plus advisory board, tasked with advising the county executive on issues related to the LGBTQ plus populations for residents, employees, and visitors of the county. She served as a member of the board of the New Jersey Lesbian and Gay Coalition from 2000 until 2009. Kathy has her master's in public administration from Rutgers, my alma mater, the State University of New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. I welcome Kathy. Thank you, Kathy.
I appreciate it.
Always. Kiss.
Kiss.
There you go.
Hello, and thank you all for hanging in there. I know it's been a couple of speakers in front of me here, but I want to, what I really want to talk about is, first of all, I'm a Montclair resident. I first moved here in 1988. I did leave for a little bit, but I came back in 2005 and have stayed here since. But really, the important part of my story, I guess there are a couple of important parts, but I came out in 1986, and if you all know what happened in 86, the community I was coming out to was dying. HIV was literally killing the community. And at the time, my partner and I at the time got involved with the HIV wall, and I had a feeling I would end up working in it, and I didn't realize that would come to fruition in 1997. And so what's happening today is that we are still facing an epidemic where about 1,000 New Jerseyans each year are being diagnosed with HIV. And quite frankly, there are about 37,000 people living with HIV in New Jersey, which means that there are probably still about 1,000 people who die each year from HIV. And at this point, we've got an administration in Washington, D.C., which is basically saying, too bad, right? And so what really is happening right this very minute is that we have prevention grants that should have started on June 1st. The CDC simply has not told the states what their funding is. So here we are, June 3rd, there's no money. Thank God I work in New Jersey, where the State Department of Health has managed to find some money to fund our organizations for 3 months, but that will get us to September 1st. And after September 1st, all HIV prevention in the state of New Jersey will cease, because there will simply be no money for it. And I don't know about you, but that scares the hell out of me, because I know and I remember 1986. And quite frankly, when COVID happened, it brought me right back to 1986 and the fear and the uncertainty and the death. And I don't want to go back there. So I'm asking all of you to really remember that HIV is still an issue, that it impacts particularly young gay men and transgender women of color. It affects those who are struggling with injection drug use. And African American women are also disproportionately impacted in our state. So I know it's Pride, we want to be happy, we want to celebrate, we should celebrate, we're here, we're not going anywhere, but we also have to remember that we are absolutely in the fight for our lives right now, and I ask you all to join in that fight with us and keep fighting. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that dropped down my pocket.
We have 4 more speakers, and again, thank you for staying. Everybody's speaking matters and has important things to say. Our next speaker is Kathy Renna. Kathy is a longtime media and queer activist and lives in Montclair with her wife, Karen. She's a veteran in the communications industry and currently serves as Director of Communications of the National LGBTQ+ Task Force and is the principal of Target Q. Since her time at GLAAD in the 90s, Kathy has executed her particular expertise in crisis and strategic communications, playing a central role in issues affecting the LGBTQ+ community, from the beating death of Matthew Shepard in 1998 to the fight for marriage equality and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Kathy worked for the team that coordinated historic coverage for the World Pride Stonewall 50, worked with New York City Pride. In 2020, she was part of the team that organized the historic Global Pride. Kathy is also currently serving as an adjunct professor at Montclair State University, teaching the role of media, public relations, and communication strategies for LGBTQ+ equity and advocacy. Most recently, Kathy was also profiled in Forbes Women as a queer PR icon and received the Outstanding Certified LGBTBE Award from the New York chapter of the National LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce. Let's welcome Kathy Renna.
Well, I was 12 when I started, just FYI. That sounded like a lot. I'm tired. Thank you all for still being here. Appreciate it. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but it's kind of been a long year, eh? And it's only June. But really, Pride this year, 2025, is more important than ever.
I think it's not trite to say that. I mean, we're saying it a lot. We always say things are, it's the most, important time of ever. But our community's been through some really tough times, right? We've been through the lavender purge of the 1960s, the campaigns of Anita Bryant, the AIDS epidemic, as my pal Kathy with a K said a few minutes ago. We've dealt with hate crimes, we've dealt with discrimination. But what we face right now is a threat that is not just about LGBTQIA plus people. It's about all of us. We're living in a country that at its highest office is not simply saying we have no value or that we should not have rights, but that it would be fine if we simply did not exist and went back in the dark days of the closet. We see it all over. We see it on social media. We see hundreds of laws attacking, in particular, our trans siblings. But the queer community has always found a way to resist, to be resilient, and even in the most challenging of times, find joy. And that is what Pride, for me, is also about. Pride is a protest, but Pride is also about finding our joy and finding our community. And we need that resilience and that joy. We need that more than ever. We're living in a really strange time of paradoxes, especially for those of us who've been doing work in the movement for a long time. We're talking about a lot of things, but one of the things we're not is we're celebrating a decade of marriage equality. Right? We're seeing more diverse representations of ourselves in the media, in culture, in government, in every facet of society. But despite that progress, what we might be very much in danger of is losing some of it. The attempts to ban gender-affirming care, targeting of immigrants, removing LGBT curricula from schools, hate crimes and violence being more and more on the rise. I mean, people have spoken about that this whole time today, and I think it's really important that we put that into context. And that is exactly why Pride and the work that out Montclair and all of our colleagues are doing is more important than ever, especially in a place like Montclair, right? I mean, it's safer than most, but we're not immune from the forces that would want to erase us. Rubina talked about the flag last year disappearing. My wife and I, she's lived here 35 years, I've lived here about 10, so I guess I can now say I'm from Montclair. Is that 10 years is the, yeah. And I love that I can just walk down the street and go to Pride and see the people that I see every day and see the folks that I buy right over there, a nice, loaf of bread from it. Le French Dad, I mean, this is where we live, this is where we want to be, and where we see the folks that we know and love every day. But the challenge is that during Pride season, and this is always something I always talk about, we're at our most visible, but we're also at our most vulnerable. I always say that Pride organizers are at the tip of the spear. These are events very often run by volunteers, as Steve talked about, and they really need our support. I mean, I'm happy to be helping this year with the festival, and I know it's going to be a huge success, but we are very lucky here in Montclair to have folks like Rubina, Madeline, Genevieve, the board. I see people like Kathy O'Hearn O'Brien, who are working in their towns to put together a festival for everyone, which is also something that you don't always see. You come to Montclair Pride and you see everybody. And that means a lot. And the other piece of this that I think is really important that I think they mentioned in the beginning is that while it's a space for joy and celebration, we're also doing something really important in this town, is we're honoring the work of the ACLU. Because the reality is, for those of us who are advocates, and we were advocating on Capitol Hill, we were advocating at state houses, and we're advocating in our town halls, it's the lawyers that are really at the front lines of this fight. And many, many, many of them are doing this work either pro bono or without a lot of resources. So we really need to support them. So the last thing I really want to do is ask you for something. Because here in this town, in Essex County, in New Jersey, and all across the nation, and really around the world, I'm going to be going to World Pride later this week. And I think the challenge is that many people did not want to come this year, because they don't want to come to the United States of America. Who ever thought that we would say something like that? I worked on World Pride in 2019 in New York City, and we had 5 million people show up. And you know who was in office, but it was a very different kind of administration, and it was a very different kind of event. So here's my ask for you. Step up. Show up. Do the hard work. Say the quiet parts out loud. We really need to commit to centering the most marginalized and having the difficult conversations to tell people in your life what is truly at stake. The lives of the young people that everyone here has talked about, they're at stake. And what do they need? They need hope. They need support. They need inspiration. They need to know that we love them exactly as they are. Let them know that they're not alone. Let them know that they are loved. And let us all come together for Pride this year, both in resistance and in joy, and lean into both of those. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. That was very inspirational. Lonnie Summer Padilla serves as Vice President of the newly established Montclair Jewish Community Relations Council, a civic Jewish organization committed to addressing the issues of Jewish interests, combating anti-Jewish bias, and promoting Jewish contributions to social, cultural, and civic life in Montclair. MJCRC is guided by the values of pluralism, unity, human dignity, and equal rights, seeking to build meaningful connections and promote mutual understanding as it begins its work. Lonnie brings decades of experience as a social worker, providing counseling to the LGBTQIA plus youth in New York City and in New Jersey. A lifelong advocate for LGBTQIA plus rights, she has also participated in Montclair Pride as a volunteer, as well as a dancer on stage alongside her longtime friend, DJ Vito. Fun. Her deep commitment to equality, equity, and community continues to shape her work across both professional and civic spheres. And now I welcome Lonnie. Stage. Good to see you, Lonnie.
Hi everyone, my name is Lonnie Summer Padilla and I'm here on behalf of the Montclair Jewish Community Relations Council. As a Jewish voice in this community, I want to share a message rooted in both our tradition and our shared values. It's an honor to stand with you today as we raise the Pride flag, this powerful symbol of love, dignity, and resilience. As a Jewish voice in this community, I also want to share a perspective from my tradition that speaks deeply to the heart of pride. The belief that every human being is created in the image of God. That means every person, regardless of gender identity or sexual orientation, carries infinite worth and deserves to live with dignity, authenticity, and pride. Being proud of who you are isn't always easy, especially in a world that often tells you to hide. But our stories, both Jewish and LGBTQIA+, are stories of resilience, of choosing truth over silence, of coming together to demand justice even when the path is steep. The rainbow, which we proudly raise today, holds special meaning in Jewish tradition. In the book of Genesis, it's the symbol of a promise, a covenant of hope and protection after the storm. It's a reminder that diversity is part of the divine plan, that light is most beautiful when it shines in many colors. And that's what community is all about, showing up for each other, embracing our differences, and standing together in the fight for equal rights. Because pride is not just a celebration, it's a continued call to action. So as we raise this flag, let it be more than a symbol. Let it be a promise that we will keep building a world where everyone can live openly, safely, and proudly. Thank you, and happy Pride.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have two more speakers. We have Alexis Collins from FARA, and then we'll have Abhishek Shah, who's part of our Montclair Center bid. Alexis Collins is a board member of FARA, the Foundation for Arab American Heritage. FARA is a cultural organization that celebrates the joy of Arab American culture while educating the community about the rich diversity and contributions of Arab Americans and advocating for inclusion, understanding, and cultural appreciation. And I'll also say that they always try to support our out Montclair and our LGBTQ events. Alexis?
Thank you so much for having us here. The Foundation for Arab American Heritage, also known as FADA, is honored to be a part of this uplifting event with our LGBTQ community and allies. FADA is a nonprofit organization.
Make sure they hear you. Put it a little bit closer.
Can you hear me? FADA is a nonprofit organization founded by a group of Arab American women with a shared purpose: to build a future where our children can take pride in their heritage, feel safe, confident, and empowered to share their culture and celebrate their roots. Similarly to the LGBTQ community, we face challenges and stereotypes. But like you, we know that strength, beauty, and resilience, and in our case, unparalleled cuisine, define us. Fada means joy in Arabic. FADA's mission is to bring people together to celebrate the joy, beauty, and diversity of Arab American culture, educate about our heritage, and advocate for the representation of Arab Americans to achieve a more just and inclusive community. While commemorating the progress that has been made since Stonewall and raising the pride flag is worth celebrating, FADA wants to take this opportunity to highlight the importance of protecting the rights of our transgender and non-binary neighbors. The words of Audre Lorde are still relevant today. Revolution is not a one-time event. Pride is more than rainbow marketing by corporations that exploit and divide us. It is a celebration of resilience, courage, and resistance to oppressive power structures. It is an inspiring legacy of love, authenticity, and solidarity in an ongoing struggle for liberation. In the words of queer Arab feminist Mona Altahawi, we share a determination to dismantle all that keeps us from being free. There is a beauty to knowing that you deserve to be free. Trans people have always existed. Before the colonization of this land where we stand today, trans people, or Two-Spirit, were honored by Native Americans. We envision a world of equality and dignity for all, and invite you to join us not only to our cultural events, but in building a community of care that centers, protects, and amplifies the voices of the most vulnerable in our society. As Arab Americans, we are acutely aware that history repeats itself. The demonizing rhetoric, censorship, and anti-trans legislation prevalent in the US today echoes 1930s Germany, when the first book burning attempted to erase medical research on the gay and transgender community. Many Arab Americans are all too familiar with fascist governments attempting to erase their history and deny their very existence. The Foundation for Arab American Heritage stands in solidarity with the LGBTQ community and affirms unequivocally that trans rights are human rights. We believe that justice cannot be selective and freedom cannot be partial. Together, we fight for dignity, safety, and equality for all. Joy is a powerful form of resistance and a deliberate act of defiance that challenges the systems that seek to silence and diminish LGBT existence. By celebrating and honoring our identities, we choose joy, reclaim power, increase visibility, and reject marginalization. Pride is a time for joyful celebration, but it is also a protest that is far from over. We see you, and we stand with you. As Marsha P. Johnson said, we are all brothers and sisters and human beings in the human race. Thank you.
We have one more speaker, but before that, I just wanted to recognize Genevieve Wren in the red dress or orange dress over there, and her children, Harrison and Evie. Genevieve is our Pride Director and Director of Events, and I already told you in the beginning about our 2 weeks of events and our wonderful day culminating in Pride on the 14th, but I just wanted to recognize her over there so you know who to thank after you enjoy Pride on the 14th. Next, I also wanted to just add, Diane Anglin asked me to please add that this Saturday is the Montclair African American Heritage Foundation Parade and Festival, and they always include they have been including out Montclair as marchers in the parade and having a table, and they always stand up for LGBTQIA plus rights as well, and so I hope many of us can attend that parade and festival if you're available. So our last speaker now is Abhishaki Shah, and Abi is known to many as Abi. He is executive director of the Montclair Center BID and oversees their projects and initiatives and includes signature events such as the Montclair Art Walk, the Summer Sunday in June, and the Winter Wonderland and Small Business Saturdays. As the first person of color and the youngest individual to ever hold the position of executive director at Montclair Center BID, Abi's appointment makes a historic moment for the organization. Under his leadership, the BIDs continue to focus on placemaking, public art initiatives, and enhancing Montclair Center's reputation as a premier destination for shopping, dining, and entertainment. But more so, Abi is a huge advocate and a member of our LGBTQIA plus community, and we recognize and thank him for being here. Oh, and also Montclair Center is one of our big sponsors of Montclair Pride.
Come on up. No, I said come on up.
Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek Shah. You can call me Abi. The executive director of Montclair Center BID. Apologize, I didn't really craft something, but I do have a couple of things I want to say, really to mention about Pride. I mentioned about what this means to our community. I've been thinking about what Pride really means to us here in the downtown of Montclair. And let's just say that it means something that it's not just about one day, a week, a month, or anything like that. It's about who we are every single day of the year. See, our downtown doesn't just happen to be diverse, it thrives because it is diverse. Because the LGBTQ plus community and the diverse population of this community come down here, contribute, spend time, bring their kids, shop in our businesses, and help make this into the community that it is. There are stories that don't just fill the streets, but they are what make this community incredible. Now, as we're wrapping up this afternoon's events, and what an incredible afternoon it's truly been to see everyone from all walks of life come out and speak. I just want to say something for me. I want you all to know that the feeling that you have and the incredible passion and excitement you have, I felt it while standing in the back of the the sidewalk here. I'm choking up a little bit because I recall several friends who've lost their lives and have taken their own lives growing up because they weren't accepted. I grew up in a very homogenous town, one of the few people of color in the town, and I can relate to what they must have felt like at that time. But seeing the people come out here so strongly, so dedicated to make their voices heard, it's an inspiration. This celebration of joy, this sense of belonging somewhere, it's incredible. So when you leave today, remember that feeling. Take it, bottle it up, and keep it so close. Because here's the thing about life. There's always going to be a time, a day, where the world feels a little less bright and when your voice feels a little bit quieter. But when it does, take that bottle out, feel that feeling, and let your voice be a little louder than the hate that you hear around you. When the roads get a little harder to walk, and those days, and there are going to be a lot of them, keep getting harder and heavier, I want you to remember this afternoon, the upcoming Pride celebration, and the many other celebrations you'll have throughout this month and the rest of the year. I want you to remember the feeling of being celebrated for exactly who you are. And I want you to know something else. You will always, always have a home here in Montclair, in our downtown, in our businesses, in our community. As a people who built this place, who make it what it is, who remember us every day of what America is supposed to be, you are an integral part of Montclair. So thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for being a part of this community. Take care.
Thank you for your support. That concludes.
Yes, so we're all done and we're concluding. I'll let Rubina close us out, but just want to thank all of you who were able to stay and come and be here, to all our speakers, again, to the town, to the council, to all the organizations, and to our police and fire who really made a huge difference today to keep us safe and to get our equipment here, including all the sounds. So we're grateful to all of them, and to Montclair Center Bid and Rubina.
Thank you for coming out, everyone that's left. At 6 o'clock, we're going to do the proclamation for Pride Month at the Township Hall on Claremont Avenue, which will be another just a wonderful thing. I love Montclair because where I came from a town that didn't have this kind of support. My town was, I went clubbing at night in the dark. That's what my town was. Just now, I know things are getting better because I know that they have a chapter in Atlantic City now. That's the area that I come from. They didn't have that before. They didn't have it 30 years ago. They didn't have, we have now, we can go out, and I love Montclair from the first time, 20 years or over 20 years it's been now. They walked down the street and felt a special warmth about this place that could not be found anywhere in my whole lifetime. I never felt that way, and I told Madeline, we have to stay here. We have to be a part of Montclair. We are married 10 years. We're not going back. And there's a lot of possible. Oh, I'm getting cut by my wife. Oh man, I was getting ready to roll into it. But I just want to say we're going to dance on down to the council now, and you can possibly get a bite to eat. We have a half an hour before the proclamation. So if you can join us, please, it'd be a great picture. They have that community, the picture taken all together. So if you can, please join us. Thank you, Channel 34, and Rick. I saw Rick here before, but Rick's camera's here. So thank you so much for being here and covering all the important things for our town. Okay, see everybody later, and see you at Pride, and see you at Pride events.